Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of 5-Minute Gaming News, the show that may or may not be 5 minutes and may or may not be hosted by Jesse, Crendor, and myself. I'm Elspeth, your trusty host for today, and it's time to delve into what's going on in the gaming world. Today in the news, Sonic the Hedgehog is dead. Yes, you heard that right. Sega has killed Sonic, and it's up to you to solve his murder. That's the premise of The Murder of Sonic the Hedgehog, a free and very much real game released in honor of April Fools. In this point-and-click adventure game, players create their own Sonic character and even play some Sonic-inspired games on the Dream Gear to help solve this heinous crime. It's Amy Rose's birthday, and she's hosting a murder mystery party on the Mirage Express. When Sonic the Hedgehog becomes the game's victim, everyone is off to get to the bottom of things. However, something feels a bit off. Is this really an innocent game, or is something more sinister afoot? Other great April Fool's pranks from this weekend include Power Wash Simulator's next game, Power Wash Survivors, Street Fighter VI's 1v1 cat mode, and IGN's fake Nintendo Direct, showcasing an update that replaces the voices of the various Mario Nintendo Switch Online games with those of their upcoming movie counterparts. But the murder of Sonic the Hedgehog definitely takes the April Fool's cake. And as fun as the game is, it's sadly not made by the Sonic team, so it's not officially canon. But you know what is? That time Sonic kissed a human woman. Or almost got killed by an orca the size of a commercial airliner. Speaking of kissing, according to Kratos' voice actor, it's time for gamers everywhere to set their differences aside, come together, and just be kind. Over the weekend, Christopher Judge took home the BAFTA Award for Performer in a Leading Role for his recent work as Kratos in God of War Ragnarok. Rightfully deserved, I might add. But during his speech, he took time to give a special message to the gamers in the audience. Thank you to the fans. Be easier on each other. You have more in common than what separates you. No matter what platform you love, no matter what game you love, you're still part of the gaming community. And give each other a break. It's no surprise that console defenders and this current iteration of the console wars have created a breeding ground for negativity online towards other gamers and companies. So much so that voice actors are having to speak out about it. Look, it's okay to have differentiating opinions or preferences. It would be an incredibly boring planet if we all liked the same things the exact same way. But it's when these opinions take on an unwarranted level of malice and action is where we have the problem. Let's not forget the wave of abuse and harassment that the Ragnarok developers underwent, including some developers being sent illicit images to encourage them to reveal the release date. To which Sony Santa Monica then released the following statement. Our fans inspire us, and we understand the passion and desire for more information, but that passion should not be toxic nor come at the expense of any human being's dignity. Let's celebrate our community by treating each other, every gamer and developer alike, with respect. So I agree with Christopher Judge. We can all stand to be a bit kinder towards one another, and Kratos is the perfect person to champion that. There's a character who went from being an insatiable, hot-headed killer of gods to being a compassionate dad who's just trying to protect his son. Old Kratos would have definitely gotten into some online fights and harassed people with dick pics. But new Kratos takes a moment to consider how his words could affect someone, and then ultimately decapitates them anyway. But you know what? It's the thought that counts. In other news, have you ever wondered what it feels like to ride a chocobo? Well, thanks to the DualSense controller, you'll be able to in Final Fantasy XVI. In a recent PlayStation blog interview, director Hiroshi Takai detailed how his upcoming game uses the PS5 controller's adaptive triggers and haptic feedback. There are certain sections where the player will have to open heavy doors or lift up portcullises, and we use the adaptive triggers there to put across that feeling of effort and resistance. They're also used when riding chocobos. The haptic feedback can produce extremely subtle vibrations, which we use to create a heightened feeling of presence in cutscenes. We converted the sound effects used in each scene into haptic data, which lets us portray details that we've never been able to before, like the movements of the air. I'm personally a big fan of the haptic feedback on PS5. It's just enough to give games that physical sense of immersion. I personally love drawing back Aloy's bow when playing Horizon Forbidden West last year. And now I've just completed my obligatory say something nice about Aloy clause that Jesse put into my contract. I also loved Returnal for that same reason. The haptic feedback in that game is just magnificent, and you can really tell how much effort the devs put into it. But it's Monday, which means it's time to check out what games are releasing this week. Get ready to get your make on this Tuesday with Behavior Interactive Inc.'s Meet Your Maker. In this post-apocalyptic game, players will not only take on the task of raiding maze-like outposts full of traps and guards, but also create their own. Play solo or with a friend as you test your skills with your own maps or the maps of other players. It's definitely giving me Doom meets Super Mario Maker vibes. Also releasing on April 4th is Road 96 Mile Zero. Mile Zero is the prequel to 2021's Road 96. The game centers around Zoe and Kato, two teenagers with different backgrounds and beliefs whose friendship is tried thanks to a string of events. In addition to its narrative adventure core, the game features musical rhythm-based sections that creatively explore Zoe and Kato's innermost thoughts and feelings about the world around them. And if you've played Road 96, you'll definitely see some familiar faces throughout the game. Then on Thursday, Pupperazzi hits the Nintendo Switch. Players take on the role of an anthropomorphic camera with one goal and one goal only: take photos of dogs. Photograph and catalog the most primo pups to build your career, upgrade your camera, and discover new canines. This might be my game of the year. I Shih Tzu not. Woof. That pun was positively rough. Hey. And there you have it for today. I'm Elspeth, and you can find me at twitch.tv/Elspeth, where I do more streaming and voiceover junk on camera. And we will see you tomorrow with more 5-Minute Gaming News. Take it easy, everybody.